Welcome back, everybody. January 17th, 2023. Yesterday I said it was January 26th, which was pretty funny. I don't know how many of you picked that up. Some of you noticed, some of you didn't. It's okay. Things like that happen. We got some earthquakes to talk about. We're going to get into some weather, and we're going to get into some weird space stuff. So a multi-topic video today. Anyway, at the start of this video, we're going to take a look at this first earthquake right here. 26 minutes ago, a 5.1. This is considered basically the mid-Atlantic ridge. It's the meeting of two tectonic plates, so we're in that northern mid-Atlantic ridge area, but still a very shallow earthquake, 6.2 miles in depth, and more than likely downgraded, so yet another 5.0 or higher earthquake since we dealt with those solar flares that we talked about yesterday. Now, this is a very important area, not only because it's where two tectonic plates meet, but because if we do see a large, big earthquake here, that could easily affect the east coast of the United States. Now, speaking of the east coast, take a look at this. Over the last 2 days, this very weird pattern of earthquakes here, or at least reported earthquakes. Now remember, some of these can be sonic booms and things of that nature, but anytime you see these red dots, that is someone reporting some sort of shaking or explosion, and it's just weird to see this pattern here over the last 2 days, and it's spread out over a 2-day period. If you look at this one in particular, this was actually an hour ago, so this is basically still taking place as you and I talk right now. This one here was 1 day and 9 hours ago, a reported earthquake. It's considered unspecified, so they're not quite sure exactly what that one is. We can move on now. 2 hours and 47 minutes ago, another one unspecified, but we see this pattern emerging. It's just really weird. Another 2 hours and 19 minutes ago, so take a look at that. So this one right here, 2 hours 47 minutes ago, and just north of that, then we get one 2 hours and 19 minutes later. So this pattern has all taken place within the last day and a half. This half circle pattern of reported ground shaking. Now, of course, when you zoom out, you see that half circle a lot better, but it's just a very odd situation, especially noticing this one from 60 minutes ago, and then we got one right next to it that was just about 2 days ago now. So basically just a little bit of a warning to keep an eye out on the eastern half of the United States and the earthquake situation. If you want to check these out on your own, you go to volcanodiscovery.com. This is a great website for actual reported ground shake earthquakes. I know a lot of people use the USGS. We have that Mid-Atlantic Ridge or Azores Islands region earthquake that we just talked about, but you don't see a single one of these earthquakes here on the USGS. And that is something you guys can look into on your own of why we don't see these on the USGS. But I would much rather know when actual human beings are feeling the ground shake, and when you get this weird sort of pattern here, that is not something to ignore. I'll be keeping a close eye on this situation. I suggest you guys do the same when you have the time. Jumping into the weather very quickly, I'll probably do some more detailed videos on what's coming over the next 7 days, but take a look at this low pressure system. This should be fun. By Thursday the 19th, it looks like that thing will be settling just underneath the Great Lakes, the low pressure system dragging all the way down to the southeast. As far as the potential for snow and things like that, we could see that in the Minnesota, Iowa area. Of course, when you see these low pressure systems this time of year, it's often that counterclockwise spin that brings that snow and ice towards more of the northwest part of the low pressure system, as you can see right here. And as we move forward in time, you could see that that kind of spreads out and then almost turns into somewhat of a nor'easter here by January 20th. Now, we're going to go a little into the future now. This one looks a little bad for the southeast. You can see this severe weather down here. Anything in the yellow is not what you want to see. That is tornado producing weather. That's basically as severe as it gets. But again, we are looking into the future. Hopefully this does not happen, because this stretches all the way down into Louisiana. You could see by Sunday this system here may be pulling snow down, possibly from Michigan all the way down to the Missouri area. That includes Illinois, Missouri, and then about 6 hours later, you see that low pressure system almost break off into two separate pieces. One of them still pulling up that warm Gulf air into the southeast with the severe weather. We could be seeing a lot of tornado action over the next 5 days. The southeast is definitely going to have to keep an eye out on this, and the north is going to have to keep an eye out on this snow situation. These low pressure systems love to just come right up and whip right into the northeast. Some of them becoming nor'easters, some of them just causing a lot of annoying weather. And you can see that here. If this thing stays as is by the 23rd, we're talking Monday, we'll back up one little click there, and this will probably be the worst of it. If it happens in this fashion, more than likely it's going to be something very similar to this. It might keep New York out of the mix with snow, but something is going to get pulled down from that cold Canadian air, and 90% of the time when that happens, we get that severe weather down in the southeast. It's that time of year. So of course, I will keep you updated on these situations. Now this one right here is more for my UK followers. Comet Neanderthal is going to be visible in the sky with the naked eye. This article put out 4 hours ago by Jeff Parsons. Astronomers say towards the end of January and the start of February, Comet C/2022 E3 ZTF will be visible with the naked eye. The bright green speck was discovered back in March of 2022 and reached perihelion, which means its closest point to the sun, on the 12th of January. After whipping around our star, it will become most visible to Earth over the next 2 weeks and in early February before it zooms off into space again, likely never to be seen again. This can actually be seen right now with telescopes and all that stuff. As you can see right here, astronomers with telescopes and binoculars are already catching some amazing glimpses of it. Obviously, that's why we have this picture right here as well. But they are calling this comet Neanderthal because of the fact that a comet has not been seen in the UK's night skies since the time of the Neanderthals. Very, very interesting. I suggest you check out this article. I'll leave it in the description box. And we'll finish up with this. This literally popped up into my news feed as I was filming this video. Meet the Canadian UFO Hunter trying to prove we are not alone. So apparently this UFO hunter from Canada has been recognized by the mainstream media and is telling his story about what he saw in the sky, and ever since then he's been trying to prove that we are not alone. As do many others, as does myself. I took a quick look at this article, so I'm going to recommend it to you guys as well. I will leave the link in the description box for you to read on your own. Alright my friends, once again, please keep an eye out on that mid-Atlantic ridge. This earthquake is probably the most recent large earthquake we've had today so far. So could it be the beginning of a string of earthquakes we're going to see based on those solar flares we talked about yesterday? Or is this one of those random mid-Atlantic quakes, but still very shallow? That's what I want you to notice. It's a 6.2 miles in depth. That thing is super shallow for a mid-Atlantic ridge earthquake. And then of course our crescent shape here along the eastern half of the United States sticks out like a sore thumb, especially when you have this grouping of earthquakes all over the northeast. Something's going on out there. If you guys have any ideas, if you felt anything, if you live in these states, please let me know down below. One last thing, we'll check out this earthquake from Florida one day, 19 hours ago. Florida's been getting some weird action lately. Now, I don't know if it's coming from the swarms of earthquakes that are taking place near Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, but over the last couple months, we've had some very crazy stories coming out of Florida with people feeling legit shaking. Not just a sonic boom or explosion, but consistent shaking where things on their walls were moving or they were calling 911. So I mean legit ground shaking experiences with a lot of detail. You could see those in my previous videos. Just search Into Thin Air Florida earthquakes. They probably won't pop up in the actual YouTube search unless you scroll down pretty far. But if you go to my channel and type in Florida earthquakes, you'll see a lot of what's going on there. Alright my friends, that's what I got for you for today. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Keep an eye out for this weather. It does not look like it's going to be anything fun. Whether it's exactly like this or whether it changes up, something like this is definitely going to be taking place in the next 7 days. Shout out to Canada, my friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.